finished. You know what to do, right?
Not really.
Okay. And I'll give you the hammer.
Okay.
I'll take the axe, because guys, here we got a piece of wood. We're going to turn into a shoe. For the shoemaking, we're using a specific kind of wood from the poplar tree. Why poplar? Because it's soft, so that makes it easy to work with. But also because it's soft, it shapes to your foot, so they've got a good foot bend. But this here is slightly too big, so we need to trim off the excess. So if you take the hammer, hit the axe on his head. You can hit it as hard as you like, as soft as you like.
Ooh.
You know, if you do too well, you might have to stay, make some more.
It takes you 2 days before you can make one shoe.
If you'd like, you can show him you can do it faster than that.
Yeah, you're hurting my ego.
Come on, he's working hard for all of you.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Hold on.
Oh, okay. This way. Yeah, to take it off.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. A little bit right there.
Oh, wow.
Guys, there it is, the shoe. So, does it look good?
I can wear it.
Well,
It
guys,
must be this souvenir.
I think we can make something that looks a little bit better than what we got over here. So next thing we need to do is shape that outside. So you don't need the hammer anymore. You can put that one there. So there's two ways we could shape the outside. We could do it the old-fashioned way by hand, just carving, till it looks like a shoe. But shaping a shoe by hand takes almost 2 hours.
I said.
Alright.
So,
If
So you
he
stay.
the one doing that 2 days in a pair.
so would you guys like to stand there another 2 hours? No? Guys, neither would I. Luckily, I am amazing. I can make them in only 5 minutes. If these help, I think it goes even faster. But of course, in 5 minutes, I can't do it by hand. That's what I've got those machines for. It works so much easier. So for the ones on this side, if you turn around, you can see up there. For the ones more in the middle, there's also a screen up there shows what the machine is doing. And if you're standing all the way back here, you can also come this way. And if I still need your help, so you can
Okay.
come this way. Use your muscles again. So if you grab this one, pull it back as hard as you can. Pull it back. Yeah. So guys, this piece of wood in here needs to be really, really tight. Do you think he's pulling hard enough, or does he need to pull it harder?
Strong.
Okay, let me check. Perfect. Guys, so this machine is for shaping the outside of the shoe. So what does it do? It follows this model over here, and it copies it onto the piece of wood, and then in just a few minutes we've got the outside shape. That all sounds pretty easy, but this machine is almost 100 years old, so we never know exactly what happens when we turn it on. But don't worry, it also gets better. Today we just got one piece of wood in there for making one shoe. So we could actually fit a second block next to it. Twists the opposite direction to make left and right at the same time. Because of course like that it's a lot easier to walk. So today we've got a small model in the machine, so we're making the smaller shoes. But if we'd like, we could change out the models for different shoe sizes. From the smallest feet for the little kids. Because here in Holland, a lot of little kids are still getting a pair of wooden shoes when they're learning how to walk. And why is that? Because then we can hear where they're wandering off to. But we also got models specially for the big foot. Just so you know, because the machine is so old, if you think it's too loud, just cover your ears. And for the ones here up front, I do have some safety goggles.
Do you want to read?
cut it out, so it's shape of the shoe, plus a little bit extra. But of course, we're not quite there yet. So the next thing we need to do is make that hole in there, so a foot can fit in there. And that we can do with this machine right here. So what do we need to do here? It's basically following the hole in the middle, and that way we'll cut the same hole in there, in the shoe. If I'd like, again, we could put 2 shoes in there, but for now also just one. I'm just gonna ask you guys to do 1 or 2
Polishing.
Oh, I think it was just fine, especially for the first shoe.
Yeah. Making.
Oh, what's your step? Mm-hmm. Squeezing through. So, found on a shoe looking like this. So when we're making a shoe to wear, we first have to shape the toe, so it actually looks like a proper shoe. Then it needs to dry. It takes about 2 weeks. So it has to dry really slowly, otherwise it might crack. So after 2 weeks of drying, we can sand it. So the outside we do so it looks good.
Yeah.
The way more important is of course that inside, so it's all comfortable to wear. And then we're finished. But yeah, the shoe that we just made is actually very, very special. It's not made for walking. This shoe here is made specially for playing soccer. Sure, if the Dutchies were allowed to wear this, we would be world champions. But if you're not big on soccer, they're also great as a stand.
I do like that for a week.
So, this one we'll leave like this and call it finished. But of course, we don't just make shoes like that. We make, of course, many of them for wearing, from the tiniest feet till the very biggest ones. So big you can almost walk on water. But some of you might have been wondering, can people actually really wear these things? Yes, they can. There's still about 1 million of them using them at the moment, but most of them don't use them on a daily basis. They use them either in their gardens, because it's easy to slip in and out of them if you have to go back into the house. But also they're used in construction and on farms, because they're like a safety shoe. But there's one thing that's important to know if you're curious about trying them out or wearing them. That's because they walk slightly different than the shoes you're used to. The main reason for that is the arch. Because it's solid, it doesn't move like your normal shoes.
Yeah.
So your foot needs a little bit of extra space so it can move in there. So I recommend a thumb of space behind the back of your foot. It looks a little bit big, but actually that's perfect. And for the first 2 weeks, wear them with thick woolen socks, because it takes about 2 weeks for the wood to start shaping to your foot. So your socks can come in handy those first 2 weeks. After that, you can see for yourself what you prefer. But yeah, guys, as I said, at this moment only about 1 million people still using them, but it's by far not as many as there used to be. So we got more creative as well, turning our shoes into all sorts of different things. We turn them, for example, also into bird houses, the bed and breakfast. Yeah. But it's important when we're making these bird houses that we're using a new shoe, and we can't just use any worn shoe because then it's too smelly for the bird. But I've also got my own personal favorite, especially for tonight. Milking the cows. I definitely love a cold one. And our newest shoe is made by Kees. He's the farmer, and he made it for his grandchildren. And it's the pencil sharpener. So what did he do? For all of his grandkids, he's asked his wife to put their names on them, so they're not arguing anymore. Woos is woos, and that worked, yeah, really well. But yeah, about the engraving, if you'd like, we can also engrave shoes for you guys. There's only 2 things that are important to know. If you'd like something engraved on a shoe, let's say a name or a text or a small decoration, we can only engrave on the unpainted shoes. And 2, if you'd like something engraved nicely, make sure you don't ask me to do any engravings, because if I do them, they look terrible. But the girls, they can do a fantastic job at it, and they do it for free, no matter if it's a big shoe or a very small one. So if you want to give the girls a challenge, what you could do is you could look for the person in the group with the longest name, and ask them to put it on this smallest shoe over here. Pretty sure they can do it, just don't tell them it was my idea. Let's see, what else have I got?
Wow.
I do have some really old ones as well.
Oh.
And these shoes, they were made especially to work here in the fields. Because this area we're in, it's all peaty soil, so the fields are all very soft and wet, almost like a swamp. So then back in the days they used to wear this so they wouldn't sink away in the mud. As you can imagine, they're pretty heavy, so I'm happy we don't use them anymore like this. Because there's one good thing about these, if you wear this all day long, at least you don't have to go to a gym anymore. Then there's one more pair I'd like to show you, and those are actually very special ones.
Wow.
As these are traditional Dutch wedding shoes.
Wow.
It's an old shoemaker's tradition. When a shoemaker gets married, he has to make a pair of wedding shoes. And these are the ones that Kees, so the farmer, made for his wife, Katrina, and she wore them on her wedding day. It's all hand cut, so really a lot of work, but I think they look amazing. Yeah, guys, these wedding shoes are actually very special because Katrina, she's not from Holland. She came here visiting about 27, 28-ish years ago, just like you guys are here today. She's originally from the United States, and guys, guess what? She is still here. So then you can see what a good pair of shoes can do. And about 2 weeks ago, they had their 26th wedding anniversary. Alright, so do you guys so far got any questions about the shoemaking?